Let's continue with chapter 1.1, looking at some more problems and practicing our problem solving. And again, as you go through the video, try not to look at the full solution. Think about how you would solve it. And so for this first example, a guess and test strategy here, we introduced you to a concept or an idea called a cryptorhythm, right? And so it's kind of a puzzle, math puzzle, where you put two words together, but each of those letters in the words represents some digit. And so the thinking is kind of, I've started the thinking out here, but sun plus fun equals swim. Keep in mind, though, that the only digits we can use are 0, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, and 9. So those numbers fit, right, in place of each of the letters, where no letter represents two different digits. So each letter has to be the same number. And so how would we solve the problem like that? Well, this is a perfect one for guess and test. You start analyzing what you have, and then we figure things out through some process of elimination. And so in this case, a starting point for us is to recognize that when you add the two n's together, you get an m, and so n will be the same number. And so in this case, n's can only be 1, 3, or 6. And the thinking behind that is it can't be 0 because 0 plus 0 would be 0, which means this needs to be an n. It can't be a 2. N can't be a 2 because 2 plus 2 is 4, and there is no 4 in our values here. It can be a 3 because 3 plus 3 is 6, and that's one of our values. It can't be a 7 because 7 plus 7 is 14, and then that would be a 4, right? But we have no 4s. And it can't be a 9 because of the 18. So that's our starting point. We know that n has to be one of these. If that's one of the cases, then we know m has to be this, because 1 plus 1 is 2, 3 plus 3 is 6, and 6 plus 6 is 12, which means this would be a 2 and you'd carry it. So that's our starting point. We also know that this s equals 1, because when you add those two numbers, you get a two-digit number, right? S plus f is a two-digit number, and so then we know that s has to be 1 with that. And so in that case, then now that we know that s is 1, we now know n is one of those numbers, 3 or 6. And then you have the two options from there. I plugged in the 3, the 6. You can plug them in, and then you end up with either it's going to be this one or this one. And through process of elimination and checking, you can then see that this is the only condition that works. And so that's an example of a guess and test problem. Again, this is really good thinking skills here, so I want to make sure you go through that problem. Here's another one where the second strategy is draw a picture. And here are some situations, again, where you would draw a picture. I should have reminded you about this here. Here are the clues when you want to use a guess and test strategy. And so drawing a picture here, we have this physical situation, geometric figures we can use to gain a better understanding. And on this one here, this is a true, once you have it, you're going to draw a picture, but you're really just not guessing and testing, but you're going to test some out. And so the idea is, can you cut a pizza in 11 pieces? They don't have to be equal in size. They just need to be 4 straight cuts, and then you get 11 pieces, and the pieces don't have to be the same size. Again, after you try that a little bit, here is what your value would be. Right here is what you can do. There's 4 cuts here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and if you count that up, you get 11 here. But this is, again, a situation where you would draw a picture on this problem here.